Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk to People. I mean Dragon Age Origins. As always, I'm Urowen. Last time, we got to know Morgan a little better, raised her approval slightly, not anything too exponential, but this time we're going to talk to Alistair, and hopefully we'll be able to get Alistair and maybe Sten in, and then I'll talk to Liliana. Um, she is more than likely going to be another long one because she is a romance option, although Alistair is too. Sten, not so much.
What do you need?
Do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
He was like a father to you, I understand.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
He saved your life by sending you to the tower.
Yes, I know. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
Yeah, my entire family? My entire family was murdered just recently.
Oh, of course. How stupid of me to forget. Here I am going on and on about Duncan, and you... I am so sorry. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Maybe I'll go to Highover with you when you go.
I'd like that. So would he, I think. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Oh boy, so... I've kind of gotten to the conclusion. This is where you can unlock the Templar special ability. I'm not really going to go into it. That way it'll save us a little bit of time. Basically, it's just explaining, as I mentioned when we got him, he is the anti-mage, really. His abilities are focused on draining mana and disrupting spells. And dispelling spells, really. But tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
You know what? No. I don't want to just push this away, though. Where are the nearest Grey Wardens?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
And as you can imagine, and I mean, I'm trying to fight the urge to skip all this, because I've played this game many, many times through, and I know a lot of this backstory. Some of it I might have forgotten, or, maybe have gotten confused with too, but like I said, I do kind of want this to be a relatively full Let's Play, so hopefully you guys won't be too disappointed with these episodes that are coming up. So, is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now that there's just two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
Will we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
I have no
About
more
the Grey
questions.
Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need? Ask away.
So, how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Haha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
I was a good man. He was a good man.
Was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
If only it were that easy.
What do you need? Ask away.
So, you said this all Eamon raised you.
Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Really? That must have been tough for them.
Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot.
And these dogs sold you to the Chantry, I take it?
Oh, there you go, listening to me again. You'd think you'd have gotten past that already. I ended up in the Chantry, sure, but I didn't start there. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Our Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
He wasn't your father, so you know who is?
I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. It isn't important. Our Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10. Just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Jarl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Jarl is a good man, and well-loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Sweet, and that was actually pretty quick. And like I said, all that's left is talking about the Templars after that. We will definitely get more into that once we go to Redcliffe, and story-wise, I feel Redcliffe is a great place to go second. For those who have not played this game before, I would definitely suggest going to Redcliffe first. And then later the Mage's Circle, and then the Elves, and then finally the Dwarves. But that's just my opinion. I do believe you can do them in any real order you want, so that's how I'm playing this one anyway. So let's get to know Sten a little better.
Why are we stopping?
I think we should talk for a moment.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
I need to know if I can trust you at my back.
I am Qunari. I have given my word to aid you. We are not people of idle promises.
I've never seen an army Qunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
No? Why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
I love that excelled in poverty. You said you were in the army.
I am.
Have you ever fought in a war?
I have always fought in war, human.
What do you mean by that?
My people have been at war since the moment we set foot in the Northern Islands.
So the Qunari don't come from the islands.
We do now.
Where did you come from before?
Somewhere else.
Can you be more specific?
No. I was born in Seheron. Of the land we came from, I know nothing, not even its name. I do not see how this matters. Seheron and Parvolan are distant. Ferelden and the Darkspawn are immediate.
Are you alright? You were in that cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
We should get moving.
As you wish.
Sweet, I did get some approval.
Yes.
This is why I really don't like talking to him. What were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
He's so blunt, and it's I don't know, I want to just punch him, but that would be incredibly stupid. It's not what I meant.
It's what you asked.
Alright. You don't like me much, do you?
Warden, if I truly disliked you, I would leave. That I am still here, you may interpret however you choose.
Are you going to answer my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
Wanted to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
That's enough for now.
Then I suggest we move on.
I do believe we can actually eventually add to more of his story. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the question?
The Arishok asked, what is the Blight? By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Qunari.
So he's your king?
Qunari have no kings.
What do you have then? It's going to be kind of a dumb question, but...
Little patience for endless questions.
Uh, did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Well, why would the Canari care about the Blight?
Why do you?
Ferelden is my home.
So if this blight were in Orlais, it could consume the land with impunity. Don't strain yourself pondering that. I do not know why the Addershok sent us. He commands and I go.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
I wanted to discuss
Speak,
something.
then.
Okay, that's enough for now.
Then I suggest we move on.
And again, we can tell him to leave here if we wanted to. Let's go.
As you wish.
Now... Oh, he lost a lot of disapproval there. Ouch. I'll probably have to booze him up or find things to do his. Oh, that's gonna be so annoying. Well, we've got about 15 minutes left. I think that should be just enough for Liliana. I hope.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
This vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in.
Now, she's a bard, so she is very wordy. And she's from Orlais, which I kind of feel like is a stab at the French stereotype of being pompous, I guess. Orlesians tend to be very pompous in appearance and in their manner of speaking. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's because maybe I'm subjugating the French populace, or maybe they are. I'm not sure. But it's just, mixed with kind of the Frenchish accent, it seems. I don't know. To each their own. It's kind of funny in my opinions. Not that I approve of, believing in stereotypes or anything. What then?
When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
And this made you want to help me.
In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop.
That isn't why I'm a Grey Warden, but that's what I'm supposed to be doing as a Grey Warden.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What was life like inside the cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Yeah, they tend to be self-righteous.
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
I prefer your idea to the ideas of the Chantry.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
Now, I agree with her belief that the Maker, the divine being, whatever it may be, shows his love in everything and not just what is worthy.
Yes?
But, again, that's just me. I'd like to talk.
Well,
Again.
Here I am.
And what would someone like you be doing in Lothering's Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
You know, a beautiful, charming woman like yourself?
And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique, because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no?
What about your fruit? Is it forbidden?
My fruit? Well, it is not technically forbidden, but it's not freely given either. Not everyone gets a bite. I can't believe I'm having this conversation. But no, I did not take vows. The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
Affirmed.
We affirm our belief in the Maker, in Andraste and the chant, but other than that, there are no vows taken.
What did you do before that?
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
You noticed that? She
Yes?
kinda
Something you need?
rushed that ending there. I'll talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
Why did you decide to come to Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
What happened to your mother?
Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
Do you remember nothing of your mother?
Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dry flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andraste's Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on.
Now, that Andraste's Grace is actually an item, the item that we're going to need to continue her companion storyline. If you've played any of the Mass Effect games, you will know that your companions tended to have quests. This is Leliana's quest, is finding the Andraste's Grace. Not really a big quest, and I don't think she really has another. Well, no, she does have a secondary one as well that will be coming up later, much later in the game. But
Yes?
we do not have the time for this.
Something you need?
We must continue on with getting to know her
Yes?
and flirting with her.
What's on your mind?
Like I said, I will be romancing Morrigan, so I will not be having any kind of sexual encounter with Liliana. Spoiler, there are sexual encounters in this game. Not really a spoiler because I slept with Iona, the elven handmaiden that died in the beginning. So, okay. Do you miss anything about Orlais?
I miss Valroyaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Valroyaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Valroyaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the Grand Cathedral. It was magnificent.
It sounds wonderful.
Oh, it would take me a day or two to talk about the many splendors of Orlais, her golden fields, her lush meadows. Of course, there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
Do you not have fine things now?
I left behind much, leaving Orlais. But there is more to life than dresses and furs. It is sad that many have lost sight of this. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. But the shoes! Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
Now, this is very stereotypical. It's kind of funny. What's so special about shoes?
Well, they're shoes. They're pretty. Some of them anyway. When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
Oh, that sounds so lovely.
I had my eye on a pair my shoemaker was working on. It was covered in pale blue silk, with amber beads on the toe. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky, fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
Yee. You don't need fancy shoes to make you beautiful.
Thank you. It's kind of you to say so, even wearing these mud-covered horrors. They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we? Yes? Something you need? Yes? What's on your mind?
You are a traveling minstrel. Do you have any tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Now, these are all bard tales, and they will go on forever. So I'm going to pass these up for another time. Maybe if there's, maybe I'll do another 2-episode party intermission thing between chapters where I go over these. But again, that'll be something else, or maybe a bonus video. Maybe I'll just randomly be like, okay, I'm going to just post a video of all of Liliana's songs for you guys to enjoy if you would like. But for now, oh, never mind.
Yes? Something you need? Yes? What's on your mind?
I heard that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
I read it in a history book.
And did you not think that this could be historical fact and no longer true? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
What's the difference?
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
What sort of services does a bard offer?
What do you think? They infiltrate, steal, sometimes assassinate? It depends on the bard. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the empress. But they could not do this openly because it is impolite, and in public they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
So that's where you learned to fight like that.
My skills served me well, but the day finally came when I decided to just put them aside. I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry, and when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Now I think that is
Yes?
all that she will tell
Telling
us
me
right
later.
now until we get her. Again, this will be, can you teach me to be a bard? And I have the capabilities of being a bard. You have to be a rogue. But, no, I don't really need to.
Yes?
I think that
What's
is
on your mind?
all that we have. Yeah, that is all we have talked about other than the bard. So, awesome. We were able to get it done in 2 videos, which is sweet. I don't think the next ones are going to be as long, as we will only be getting 1 extra character. And depending on how the time is, I might fit in a bard's tale. But, in the meantime, thank you guys so very much for watching. Sorry this was kind of, these last 2 episodes were kind of boring. I enjoy them for the most part, some more than others. Like I said, I don't really like talking to Sten. I love talking to Alistair, and I love talking to Morrigan. And, I mean, Liliana. She is my favorite heroine to romance. So, kinda, it's hard to resist. But anyway, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Next time, there actually will be progression in the story, and we will see where we're going next. As always, happy gaming.